murdered in what the sheriff calls a racially motivated crime. His case was cold for 3 decades. Last month, Frankie Gephardt and Bill Moore Sr. were arrested. Well, this week, Coggin's family got new details why investigators believe they killed Tim. And tonight, the family sat down with our very own Chris Hopper. And Chris, you talked about the motive and also what it was like for them to see the suspects in person for the very first time.
Yeah, Ron, it was a very emotional conversation with Tim Coggin's niece tonight. She says this week in court, sitting so close to the men accused of killing her uncle was incredibly difficult. Tonight, they also know investigators believe the 2 men killed Tim in 1983 for talking to a white woman.
You can't help but imagine that night. You can't help but imagine that night being there, them being there, Tim being there. It was hard. I even imagine my grandparents sitting in the courtroom. I even imagine what my grandmother would say or how my grandfather would look when they saw them. The people that they suspected was still in the area, and the suspicions were true.
What was it like being in the same room as the suspects? Was that uncomfortable to be so close to them?
It wasn't uncomfortable for us. Of course, we wanted to be there. We needed to be there. We needed to actually see them, and we needed for them to see us and know that Tim was loved. Tim wasn't just someone all by himself in this trailer park that was murdered. Well, you don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe that someone is murdered because they chose to speak or befriend someone of a different race when we're all human. 34 years later, we've gotten an arrest. We've gotten, Tim's name is, we're speaking his name. He's not forgotten. You know, we're constantly saying Tim, or something's coming up about the case, or he's not forgotten, so he lives on, and we've technically gotten closure.
And Tim's niece Heather says he never got a proper funeral. His grave went unmarked for 34 years out of fear. Tonight they're working on a headstone, and the family says they will have a memorial service for Tim sometime after Thanksgiving. Ron?
All right, and hopefully they'll get more answers in the courtroom. Thanks a lot, Chris.